Good evening, I'm Stan Pearsa, better known as Spirit of the Rock. I've been checking out the Nappers group site lately, seeing a lot of discussion on there about fluting, and I'm pretty much a lurker on there. I don't post a whole lot, but I do read a lot of the posts, and I've been working on fluting for a while now, trying different things, trial and error, experimenting, if you will. I've tried everything I do is freehand percussion or supported on my leg, in-hand percussion fluting. Don't use any levers or anything, just direct and indirect percussion. I got a few examples of some pieces I've done, and I'll show you those. And the first one I'm going to show you is this one here is out of Novaculite. And if you can see this flute on this one here, this was done with a copper billet lead filled cap, and you see it ran kind of narrow and straight up the middle, got a little bit of a hinge, but it kind of feathered, not too bad of a hinge on this one. The other side I did using a different technique where you hold it flat on your hand and you take and smack the thing, and it sends the point flying across the yard and into the grass, and it detaches your flute. And that's this one here. And this was done, this side was done with that, I call it the flying Clovis fluting method. Was done with white-tailed deer antler. You can see it's a wider flake. You got a little bit more dip in the bulbar percussion, and but it works pretty well. And a fellow, Mike Johnson, showed this to me and myself and Steve Nisley up at Oregon Ridge one time, and it's a pretty good fluting method. This one is a piece of Flint Ridge, and it was done with a copper billet lead filled cap. And you see it's a little deeper, more troughed out flute, and ran real narrow and got a little hinge to it too. And the other flute failed. I didn't have a good convexity at the point of initiation, and my nipple was not set up properly on the off margin. And this one is a piece of dacite. It's really thick. I still got everything put together. If you can see that nipple in there, I'm not sure if you can see it good or not. And I've done this one with the moose antler. And I'll take this loose and show you what I got out of that. And that was a good one also. Ran on up in there. But also, once again, I had a real thick or steep dig in with the bulbar percussion. And pretty sure that's coming from where I'm striking on the platform. I'm getting too much into the platform, and it's causing that sudden buildup of pressure in the rock that creates that thick bulbar percussion. Later on, we'll take and set up this other side and flute that. Another thing we've done, we got this one here out of dacite, and it's a pretty nice piece of heat-treated, not dacite, but Novaculite. Nice piece of heat-treated Novaculite. And this one I did with a white-tailed deer antler billet, which was probably, I don't know, on the 4-ounce range, I guess, something like that. And you can see it shot a nice flute scar up in there too. And this one here was a held freehand, unsupported, and ran a good flute. And that's another one where we haven't done the second side yet. And also on this one here, and I'll show you another piece that shows it even better. If you can see it, there's a tiny bit of steep beveling along the edge. And what that does is it gives you two guide ridges on each side of the piece, so when your flute comes up, it'll get to those ridges and they'll kind of guide it and keep it straight up instead of letting it. Sometimes I've had them overshoot off the side. This prevents that from happening, And I saw in Bob Patton's book about the fluted tradition cultures that the Folsoms were done that way a lot, and I actually saw him do one up at Oregon Ridge. And I'm going to stop this for a second and break it into a couple parts, and I'll be right back.